Hello. I wanted to put this build together really quick. It's kind of a goofy build, I'll be completely honest. It uses Tesla Nervos and Tesla Bank and makes Gyre do the thing that she already really likes to do, which is cause enemies to cascade and die, but does it even more because of Tesla Nervos. Basically, what happens is you get the damage from Rotor's Swell. The discharges happen at a 26-meter range. When they die, Cathode Grace charges them with another 200%, or discharges another 200% on top of that. And then Tesla Nervos, if it's applied to those targets, when they die, they explode to do even more damage, which causes Cathode Grace to discharge again. It's kind of this, like, cascading effect. It's not the best way to build Gyre, but it is really funny, and I like it. I also have 5 Violet Tau Forged electric ability status damaged shards here, so you can see where this is kind of going. In the gameplay that you'll see in a moment, you can see that it kind of just works without you actually needing to shoot anything. It's so silly. Anyways, I was using the Sybaris and the Epitaph. The Sybaris because when I group enemies, with the Incarnon, it applies both the guaranteed gas or guaranteed blast as well as gas, which causes the Cathode Grace to discharge a bunch, and then Tesla Nervos to kill everything in a 21-meter radius, which gets buffed by the Violet Archon shards because we're guaranteed applying rotor swell damage. It's a little silly. I'm also using a Panzervogel pilot to prime for me because we don't really need priming outside of just viral. But otherwise, yeah, that's the build. So you can see here the gameplay is actually pretty solid. I don't have a ton of survivability, and I think that's something I would add if I wanted to like min-max this build to a certain degree. But like I'm shooting like 1 or 2 enemies every now and then. Like obviously Rotor Swell is doing most of the work. But when you do see Tesla Nervos applied to something, and then Rotor Swell goes off and kills it, everything in a 20-meter radius just kind of disappears from the minimap, which is really funny. It's also just fun to watch the electric discharges from Gyre, so I like playing her a lot. Unfortunately, Tesla Nervos doesn't crit based off of her passive. As you can see here, I'm trying to make it so that the Acolyte actually dies to electric procs from Tesla Nervos just to see if it does anything to him, but unfortunately he kind of just dies before that. Due to me shooting him by accident. When you see an enemy with Tesla Nervos, which is kind of difficult to see, you can just shoot them once and they will just explode and kill literally everything. It's kind of a weird interaction that I thought was a little goofy, so I thought I'd try to put a build together. I was actually came up with this idea because I was trying to build Valbon, and I don't like Valbon, but his Tesla Nervos augment was really interesting in idea to me. So I was like, well, it does electric damage. Why not put it on the electric frame? And so here we are. It's not a bad build by any means. It will get you through a lot of things. And like, I think at the end of the 10 minutes I had 800 or so kills, which I mean isn't a huge amount, but it's, I mean, also wasn't trying to kill enemies with guns too much. I was trying to avoid doing that as much as possible, to try to let the Tesla Nervos do their thing. Also, like, basically anytime you group enemies together with her too, they all die, and then you can't really see any numbers because there's just too many of them. So I tried to avoid doing that as well, for gameplay purposes, so I could see numbers and stuff. But, I mean, I know typically people like to go really high strength, but because Tesla Nervos doesn't care about strength at all, I decided to go really high range and kind of lean really heavily into that. So the build has a lot of range, so that means the discharges are doing, what did I say, 26.5 meters, which can discharge from one target to the next, to the next, to the next, because it does 4 discharges. Which means you can get over 100 and some odd meters of range on your discharges. Which doesn't really matter too much, but it's decent for some survivability because it applies the electric to everybody. The Tesla Nervos having a 21-meter explosion radius is really good. I kind of wish that I put a little bit more energy sustain in so I could spam it a bit more. The Tesla Nervos do have a weird AI, so it's kind of difficult to control them a lot, I guess, is the right way to say it. On top of the fact that it's really difficult to see where they are, which is kind of why I liked the idea of putting it on Gyre, because the target doesn't need to be killed by you. It just needs to die in general. And that can be just rotor swell doing rotor swell things. So as long as the Tesla Nervos attaches to something, it's actually not bad at all. I was really hoping that Tesla Nervos was going to get crit chance based off of her passive, but maybe a little bit of wishful thinking. With such low strength, I was not expecting this to kill any of these enemies, but I think I may have underestimated Gyre as a whole here. You can see that I'm only struggling a bit just with like life support. Violence did down me here, but that's, you know, that's violence things. Technically I killed him and then I got down immediately after. He just turns off everything that Gyre is, and it's, yeah, it's a lot. But when I got back going here again, you see all the enemies just kind of disappear. It's kind of a neat little cascade effect. Like you can see the enemies in the background taking a ton of damage here too, but not actually even near them. I mean, that's just Gyre things, but the Tesla Nervos making them take the additional discharges because the Tesla Nervos is killing nearby enemies to kill far enemies is really funny. You see a lot of like weird discharges in the distance because when I kill an enemy nearby and every enemy nearby is dead, the discharges keep going to like a very far distance. You see I'm kind of running out of life support here, but it's also because I had just gotten downed and also the round ended, so the life support was draining because of the thorax. But I'm looking at enemies, watching them die because I want to see how much damage it's doing. It doesn't look like it's doing a lot, but it's killing a lot of enemies, weirdly enough. Like you can just see how many discharges are happening. It's actually quite cool. Here you can see I get like mesmerized by watching the electric effects just happen. Like I'm doing electric discharges around the corner. Like in the background down the hallway you can see numbers happening because of how far the discharges are happening, which is really silly. It's definitely a good time. Anyways, that's about the build. It's a silly one. It's not great. It's okay, but it is funny. I wanted to use something that was not like a meta subsume, because like normally on Gyre I use like pillage or roar because obviously like making her discharges do as much damage as possible is kind of the goal. It was definitely really fun making this build. I'm sure that there are some like optimizations you can make. Like you can obviously not run preparation and run something like Prancher-footed or power drift or even extra range. But I liked this and it was worked quite well. That's it. Anyway, thanks for watching.